Student, Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Dr. Mansoor Khan, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Kohat University of Science and Technology. The course which is assigned to me is Atomic Spectroscopy with a course code Chem 454. Today I am going to deliver my 9th lecture, and the title of today's lecture is Atomic Absorption Spectroscopy Part 2. We were discussing about the line source which is used as an excitation source in atomic absorption spectroscopy. So the line source which is most widely used as a line source in atomic absorption spectroscopy is the halocathode lamp, which is abbreviated in the form of HCl. Halocathode lamps are of different type. For example, A multi-element halocathode lamp. In this halocathode lamp we can determine different metals using one halocathode lamp. That's why it is called multi-element halocathode lamp. Demountable halocathode lamp, high density halocathode lamp. While the other line sources which are uses nowadays in atomic absorption spectroscopy, which is used as an excitation source, is electrodeless discharge tube and temperature gradient lamp. These two lamps are also used, but halocathode lamp is widely used, and it is more, its efficiency and application are more as compared to electrodeless discharge lamp and temperature gradient. Electrodeless discharge lamp and temperature gradient are used rarely and in specific conditions. Halocathode lamp consists of quartz window with a Pyrex body and which has a central anode with tubular cathode. This is the halocathode lamp and its condition. So the halocathode lamp is present. It has anode with a halocathode. That's why it is called halocathode lamp. The difference in the potential difference between the two electrode is from 100 to 200 volt, which produce a current of 1 to 25 milliampere. The gas which is inside present in the halocathode lamp is neon or argon at 1 to 2 with the pressure of 1 to 2 tar, and the anode is made up of tungsten, zirconium or nickel. Now what happened? High current takes place between cathode and anode that ionize the argon gas, which collide with cathode, which is made up of element of inertia, and sputtering takes place, and also which produce gaseous atoms, and excitation and de-excitation takes place, which produce line spectra, which is passes through the element of inert which is present in the flame. Halocathode lamp works ionize the inner gas at the potential of 300 volt, generate a current of 5 to 15 milliampere as ions and electron migrate to the electrode. The gaseous cations acquire enough kinetic energy to dislodge some of the metal atoms from the cathode surface and produce an atomic cloud. A portion of sputtered metal atom is an excited site and thus emits their characteristic radiation as they return to the ground state, and eventually the metal ions diffuse back to the cathode surface of the glass walled tube are redeposited. Hollow cathode, high potential and thus high current lead to the greater intensities. Operators control as a mode of sputtering occurs, but also lead to the self-absorption and resonant broadening. Self-absorption of the self-reversal also takes place, and resonant broadening may also take place. Hollow cathode lamp, high potential and thus high current lead to greater intensity. So this is the specification of hollow cathode lamps. So greater intensity can be obtained by using a hollow cathode lamp. Operators control as more sputtering occurs, but also lead to cell absorption and resonant broadening. So that's why we should be very careful when we are using hollow cathode lamp, because less sputtering decrease the sensitivity and high sputtering leads to self-absorption. So what is self-absorption or self-reversal? The greater current produced an increased number of unexcited atoms in the cloud. The unexcited atoms in turn are capable of absorbing the radiation emitted by excited ones. This self-absorption leads to lower intensities, particularly at the center of the emission band. Now what is resonant broadening? Pressure broadening caused by collision between identical atoms, which is called, leads to the broadening, and it is also one of the drawback of hollow cathode lamp. And the self-absorption also cause self-absorption leads to positive error is the concentration of the electrolyte atom is low and self-absorption takes place, then it will show it in a high concentration as compared to its lower concentration. This leads to a positive error. To further increase the sensitivity, of a hollow cathode lamp, boosted discharge hollow cathode lamp or high intensity hollow cathode lamp are used and attain great intentions of the scientist. Most direct methods of obtaining improved lamps for the emission of more intense atomic resonance lines is to separate the two functions involving the production and excitation of the atomic mode. So more separate function atoms will be produced, more sputtering will be takes place so as to increase the intensity. Boosted discharge lamp, cathode lamp are high intensity is introduced as an AFS excitation source by Civilian and Walsh. So it was first time introduced by Sullivan and Walsh. It has received a great deal of attention and a number of modifications to this type of source have been counted. So if we produce high intensity high cathode lamp, it has certain drawbacks, but more modifications are made, and now it is used one of the most favorable choice of the scientists which used these hollow cathode lamp nowadays in the atomic absorption spectroscopy. This is the schematic structure of boosted hollow cathode lamp. It consists of an anode, two auxiliary electrode and one cathode. It produces 30 to 100 times high intensity than conventional hollow cathode lamp. How? Because it has two auxiliary electrode and it also takes place in excitation. Low current between cathode and anode keeps sputtering low atomic population produced, and it avoids self-absorption. High potential and current between axial electrode leads to a high excitation process. So this is the schematic structure of halocathode lamp, same, but there are two extra auxiliary electrode which also takes part in the excitation, which leads to the low sputtering phenomena and avoid the self absorption. So another important line source which is used in atomic absorption spectroscopy is electrodeless discharge lamp. Electrodeless discharge lamp is constructed from the sealed quartz tube containing a few pressure which is equal to 0.1 to 5 tar of an inert gas such as argon and small quantity of the metal of interest or its salts. The vapor pressure of the element used in electrodeless discharge lamp are sufficiently high to permit some gaseous atom of the element to form in the low P environment of the lamp. The lamp does not contain an electrode but instead is energized by an intense field of radio frequency or microwave which has the power of 4 to 50 megahertz radiations. So it has no lamp electrode like halocathode lamp, but it has intense field of radio frequency or microwave radiations which has the power of 2450 megahertz radiation. The lamp does not contain an electrode but instead is energized by an intense field of radiation. Radiant intensities usually 1 or 2 orders of magnitude greater than the normal halocathode lamps mostly used for atomic fluorescence spectroscopy. So this electrodeless discharge is largely used for electronic fluorescence spectroscopy. The main drawbacks: their performance does not appear to be as reliable as the halocathode lamp. As in the start I have told you that the most successful, the most famous line source is the halocathode lamp. We use electrodeless discharge lamp, but less famous among the scientists, and they are only commercially available for some elements only, like selenium and arsenic. So its application is not as wide as that of halocathode lamp. Their intensity depends on T, so control required. They are less stable than halocathode lamp, so their application and their stability and their favoritism is low as compared to halocathode lamp, and still halocathode lamp is the best choice for the scientist. This is the diagrammatic representation of electrodeless discharge lamp which show its whole construction. The halocathode lamp consists of radio frequency coil which produce a high amount of radiations. It has a quartz window. It has a ceramic holder, a lamp, evacuated quartz tube. The evacuated quartz tubes is 5 milligram in concentration or in amount. It is available for very limited number of atoms, for example arsenic, bismuth, cadmium, cesium, germanium, mercury, potassium, phosphorus, lead, rubidium, titanium and zirconium. So this is the whole construction of electrodeless discharge tube. It has different components arranged in a specific way. The third important line source which is used in atomic absorption spectroscopy is temperature gradient, and it is the block diagram, and its intensity is greater than halocathode emitted light of 0.001 nanometer. Filler gas is argon with a air pressure with a pressure of 1 to 5 bar, mostly used for arsenic and selenium. So an electric heater convert element into atomic vapor. So this is the main mechanism of temperature gradient. It has a bulb element, atomic vapors are produced, and current of 0.5 ampere is passes with a voltage of 30 volt, cooled with oxide, barium, calcium, strontium element. So its applications are less and only used for two elements and only used in specific analysis as compared to the halocathode lamp, but still halocathode lamp has more application as compared to temperature gradient lamp as well. The next important portion of the instrumentation of atomic absorption spectroscopy is the atomizer. Atomizer is that portion of atomic absorption spectrometer which convert the sample solution into its neutral atomic gaseous atoms. That's why it is called atomizer. An atomizer consists of three portions. One is nebulizer, burner, and flame. And the diagram of the whole atomizer is given as below. It consists of nebulizer, oxidant, drain fuel, glass beads, buffles, spray chamber, burner head, flame. So these are the various portion of the nebulizer, and the part the application of the atomizer is to convert the element of interest into its neutral gaseous atomic form. Now this slide shows how to get sample into the instrument. Table 8.2 shows methods of sample introduction into the atomic spectroscopy. So in atomic absorption spectroscopy, the sample can be introduced by using pneumatic nebulization, ultrasonic nebulization, electrothermal vaporization, hydride generation, direct insertion, laser ablation, spark or arc ablation, glow discharge sputtering. Now types of sample: solution or slurry, solution, solid, liquid or solution, solution of certain elements, solid powder, solid metal, conducting solid and conductive solids are used respectively for respective methods. But in atomic absorption spectroscopy, nebulization method, which include pneumatic nebulization, ultrasonic nebulization, electrothermal vaporization, and hydride generation are mostly used by the scientist. How to get atomize? Type of atomizers used for atomic spectroscopy. Now type of atomizer include flame, whose temperature is from 1700 to 3105 degrees centigrade, electrothermal vaporization, whose temperature is from 1200 to 3000 degrees centigrade, inductively coupled argon plasma, which is famously known as ICP, temperature is from 4000 to 6000 degree Kelvin, direct current argon plasma, temperature is also from 4000 to 600, microwave induced argon, temperature from 2000 to 3000, glow discharge plasma non-thermal, electric arc temperature from 4000 to 500,000, and electric spark temperature is 4000 degree Kelvin. So these are the most important atomizers which is used for the atomization to convert the atoms into its atomic form. Now, what is a nebulizer? Nebulizer basically a part of atomizer that convert the sample solution into its small portion particle known as spray. This slide shows a typical diagram of nebulizer which take the sample on one end and argon gas pass through it and it passes through the tip of the nebulizer which convert it into a spray. The next important portion of the instrumentation of atomic absorption spectroscopy is the atomizer. Atomizer is that portion of atomic absorption spectrometer which convert the sample solution into its neutral atomic gaseous atoms. That's why it is called atomizer. An atomizer consists of three portions. One is nebulizer, burner and flame. And the diagram of the whole atomizer is given as below. It consists of nebulizer, oxidant, drain, fuel, glass beads, buffels, spray chamber, burner head, flame. So these are the various portion of the nebulizer, and the part the application of the atomizer is to convert the element of interest into its neutral gaseous atomic form. So this is the slide that show that what is the function of nebulization or nebulizer. Nebulization do control droplet size distribution. It convert the sample into small droplets of uniform size, and which is helpful for its complete atomization. Uniform flow rate. The flow rate is also, it maintain a uniform flow rate, because if the concentration, if the flow rate is high, then less atomization takes place. If low flow rate takes place, then high atomization takes place, which leads to an error. Easy cleaning, it can be cleaned very easily. No blockage takes place. No chemical reaction with solution takes place with using nebulization. Now, pneumatic nebulizer is a type of nebulization. What is the function of pneumatic nebulizer? A pneumatic nebulizer simplest for clear non-turbid solution. Break the sample solution into small droplets. Solvent evaporates from many of the droplets. Most greater 99% are collected as a waste. The small fraction that reach to the flame have been dissolved to a greater extent. Efficiency of the nebulizer droplet size distribution depends on the flow rate, viscosity, surface tension of the solvent. A corrosion resistance bead placed at the outlet of the nebulizer increase the efficiency of the removing of the big droplet. So this slide shows the various function, advantages and basic principle of pneumatic nebulizer, which is largely used nowadays in the atomizer in atomic absorption spectrophotometry. This is one type of pneumatic nebulizer. Sample solution comes through a concentric tube, and then at a right angle there is a gas flow at high pressure which drag the sample solution on the other side of the nebulizer, having a very small tip. When with a high flow rate, the liquid particles are converted into a smaller droplet, which is called a spray, and it can be easily atomized. So this is a type of nebulizer, and also show the mechanism of nebulizers. This is another type of nebulizer, which is a high pressure gas flow comes on one direction while the sample solution is on the other solution. This hole is called cross flow. The gas pressure flow and the sample solution are at a right angle to each other, so the high pressure passes the sample solution on one side, and it converted into small droplets, small portion, which is called a spray, and this can be easily atomized. So this is another type of pneumatic nebulizer which are largely used nowadays for atomic absorption spectroscopy. This is another type of nebulization in which we used Fried disk. Sample solution comes perpendicular and the high pressure flow gas passes at a right angle to the gas flow, and most of the gas goes to the drain, and this is known as Fried disk type of pneumatic nebulizer. It is also used to convert the sample solution into smaller portion which can be easily atomized. So this is another type of pneumatic nebulizer. This is another type of pneumatic nebulizer which is called Babington. The sample solution comes, it forms a solution film. This is basically used for viscous liquid. No blockage takes place in this case, and there is orifice. When the high gas flow passes through the bulb, it convert the liquid into its smaller portion, which is known as spray, and this is another type of pneumatic nebulizer and the most largely used one, and it has large number of advantages as compared to the other pneumatic nebulizers. The next important portion of the instrumentation of atomic absorption spectroscopy is the atomizer. Atomizer is that portion of atomic absorption spectrometer which convert the sample solution into its neutral atomic gaseous atoms. That's why it is called atomizer. An atomizer consists of three portions. One is nebulizer, burner, and flame. And the diagram of the whole atomizer is given as below. It consists of nebulizer, oxidant, drain, fuel, glass beads, buffles, spray chamber, burner head, flame. So these are the various portion of the nebulizer, and the part The application of the atomizer is to convert the element of interest into its neutral gaseous atomic form. Now another one is ultrasonic nebulizers. Ultrasonic nebulizer is another type of nebulizer. Sample is placed in a tank and ultrasound waves are passes through it from the base. In pneumatic nebulizer, neutral gas do nebulization, while in ultrasonic nebulizer, ultrasonic waves do the nebulization. The dense form is swept with an accident into the flame. Particle size distribution depends on the frequency and independent of the flow rate of the accident. Now burner. Burner is also an important portion of the atomizer. We have two types of burner. One is called total consumption burner and the other one is premix chamber burner. So this can be explained one by one in the upcoming slides.